Hello and welcome to my presentation on the Tasmanian devil. Tasmanian devil, or scientifically classified as Sarcophilus harrasii. The hierarchical classification of this animal is Kingdom Animalia, Phylum Chorata, Class Mammalia, Infraclass Marsupialia, Order Dasyuromorphia, Family Dasyuridae, Genus Sarcophilus, and Species Sarcophilus harrasii. Tasmanian devils are common all throughout Tasmania and live all over the island, especially in its northwestern and eastern regions. Some common settings for the Tasmanian devil include coastal moorlands, woodland forest underbrush, wooded rural areas, scrublands, rangeland, and rainforests. The species often frequents areas that have a lot of human beings. This is due to the animal's food scavenging tendencies. Tasmanian devils occupy 3 to 4 dens in their home range. Dens are burrows that the devils dig up themselves. Dens dug by a Tasmanian devil tends to be quite simple in structure. The Tasmanian devil plays a big role in the ecosystem. The Tasmanian devil is the largest extant marsupial carnivore. Tasmanian devils are important predators in the Tasmanian ecosystem, controlling density of population of prey animals, removing weak and diseased animals, and returning nutrients back into the ecosystem in the form of feces. As scavengers, they are important in removing carcasses, keeping in check spread of infectious bacteria. Tasmanian devils are involved in the Tasmanian food web. This food web consists of vegetation, lizards, rodents, wallabies, birds of prey, owls, and the Tasmanian devil. If the Tasmanian devil was to be removed from this food web, a number of effects would follow. First of all, Tasmanian devils play a part in this food web by keeping it clean. They are effective scavengers of dead animals and roadkill. This limits the prevalence of flies and the possibility of diseases from decaying flesh. And if the Tasmanian devil was to be removed, there would be a ton of dead animals on the Tasmanian roads, and the chance of diseases from the dead animals would increase. Secondly, Tasmanian devils are on the top of the food chain, with the exception of owls and birds of prey. And if the Tasmanian devil was to be removed from the food chain, there would be no predators of smaller mammals, and the population of these small mammals would increase dramatically, resulting in increased competition for food among them. Thirdly, if the Tasmanian devil was to be removed, the fox would proliferate, as it would become the largest terrestrial wild carnivore on the island, and this would have an effect on all the other animals in the food chain. There are many threats to the Tasmanian devil. For example, the disease DFTD, also known as devil facial tumor disease, foxes, and habitat loss. DFTD is a very rare form of cancer that is spread when devils bite one another while they are fighting or mating. Devils that have this disease have lumps in their face or neck. These lumps grow into larger tumors, and then the cancer starts to spread throughout the body. The introduction of the red fox into Tasmania has had a big impact on the Tasmanian devil. Foxes compete directly with the Tasmanian devil. Both species share preferences for den sites and habitats. This meaning the weaker Tasmanian devils will be forced out of their habitats and dens, meaning they will have to fight for their lives in the wild. Tasmanian devils have thought to be a lot less susceptible to the threat of habitat loss than other animals, because they can happily exist in a variety of vegetation, and they dig their dens in many areas. However, in some areas there aren't many sites suitable for denning. If dens were destroyed in these areas, it could have a significant effect on devils' numbers. Scientists are breeding Tasmanian devils in captivity to limit the spread of devil facial tumor disease. This disease is a great threat to Tasmanian devils living in the wild, affecting some 2/3 of the population. The Australian government now has initiatives and programs to preserve the species. Tasmanian devils are being housed in captive breeding programs which should prevent the extinction of the marsupial, but not necessarily in the wild. In January 2010, a team of international scientists pinpointed the genetic marker that leads the Tasmanian devils towards this fatal disease. With this knowledge, there is now a better chance of a cure, which would also stop the disease discriminating the wild Tasmanian devil population. The Tasmanian devil is threatened by many things, for example, DFTD, foxes, and habitat loss. And if we don't do anything about it and the Tasmanian devil becomes extinct, a number of effects would follow. Luckily, many things are being done to save the Tasmanian devils, like breeding programs and research. However, even though these things are being done to save them, the threats still exist. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed.
Created using Powtoon.